Good morning, everyone. It's Karen Whooley. I hope you're having a great week so far, and welcome to this week's live Wednesday. Sorry, I'm losing my voice still. I hope you guys are having a great week, and I'm just trying out a new intro, so I just thought I'd try it out today, see what you guys thought. Hopefully, you got a little bit of hype ready to go while you guys were waiting for me to come live. So I want to just check in with everybody who's here. Renee says good morning to everyone. We have Linda here and Stephanie here and Kelly here. And let's see who else is here. Oops, it's not letting me scroll for some reason. So hang on a second. Let's try this again. I have Stephanie here saying the sunshine and 70s in Dallas. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. We're only 39 degrees. So awesome. Awesome. Good. I'm glad, Renee, you guys like the intro. It was just something different that I've seen other people do. And I thought it might be kind of fun to get everybody hyped up and see who's here and before I actually go live. So it was kind of fun to do that. Yesterday we hit 9. Oh, wow. Okay. That's an old record. That's a hot temperature for April. I'm not used to that. I know my parents are supposed to hit 90 in California this week. So, hot. Okay. So let's talk about a couple things to start with. First of all, our topic today is dealing with poorly written patterns. And I know some of you got some notifications that I was going to be addressing some of your questions. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. But I also want to let you know if you have a question about poorly written patterns and how to deal with them, I'm going to put this down in the bottom here. Type a Q and then your question in the chat so that I can queue them up and I can answer them as they come in. Also, I want to let you know we are doing a giveaway again today. And today's giveaway is the pattern. It's a digital pattern for Whimsy. This is a pattern I did for Trilogy Yarns. I had to think about her name there for a second. Nancy at Trilogy Yarns. I do not have the sample. She has it because she uses it for shows that she goes to. So if you want the yarn that's in this, you can go to trilogyyarns.com. And I think she still carries both these colors. I'm trying to remember what the colors are now. Bad Boy Blue and Aurora Borealis are the two colors. So I'm going to give away a digital copy of this pattern, and to enter to win the pattern, copy of it. I'm going to put it on the screen here. I am going to have you type in, oops, that's not what I wanted. This way. In the chat, just type in, you have to do hashtag the number 2 colors. So if you are interested in winning this pattern, make sure you type in hashtag 2 colors in the chat. Now, just to cover a couple questions I've had in the past about this is last week someone thought that they could win after the video was the live stream was over, and you cannot do that after the live stream's over. You have to be here. You have to be live when I do the drawing. So make sure that you know that you have to watch the video all the way through, and then make sure that you're subscribed to my channel and you hit the bell. If you hit the bell, it'll let you know when I go live. So next week, you might have a chance to win the pattern that I give away next week. But for this week, it's whimsy, and enter 2 colors in the chat. So let's go back to today's topic. I noticed there's some comments here. I just want to make sure there's no questions. Linda says she liked the intro. I needed that when I'm doing housework. Good. You know, that's why I kind of had music going. I tried to do something that wasn't too rock and roll, too quiet, you know, trying to in between. So, and Charlene is here. Good morning. Good morning, Charlene. It's good to see you. And I see there's some 2 colors going in. So if you have a question about today's topic, make sure that you post it in the chat, and make sure you put a Q in front of it, just like I have there on the ticker. So let's get started with the topic. Hang on one second here. Let me trick off that. There you go. All right. So I'm going to share my screen here for a second. And these are some of the questions that I have been getting from people about poorly written patterns. Agatha said her biggest crochet challenge was vaguely written patterns, and I hear that a lot. If you feel like you are getting a lot of vaguely written patterns, make sure either put like the hand up, or say me, or something about vaguely written patterns. I know that's a big problem right now, so let me know if you're seeing those patterns, those kinds of patterns. And then I had Carol H, who said her biggest crochet challenge is interpreting badly written patterns. That's another one I hear a lot. There's a lot of people out there who don't use tech editors and things like that, and we'll discuss that in just a little bit. But that's another topic that I get a lot, or a question that I get a lot. And then Linda's here, so I know she's watching. I don't have a problem reading and understanding your patterns. I'm assuming that's my patterns, but there are other patterns that I don't understand. I don't know if it's a question of me just not reading the pattern properly, or if perhaps the person who wrote the pattern didn't make the instructions clear enough. For instance, I've downloaded the free patterns from a television show about knitting and crocheting, but for several seasons, there wasn't even one pattern that worked out. I noticed on one that the demonstration had different stitch counts in the actual pattern. If there was a stitch diagram, that helped, but if not, I just gave up. I hate it when I hear people give up on a pattern. So we're going to address that one as well, Linda. So I know that happens a lot. And then we had from Anna Louise. I don't know if Anna Louise is here or not, but she says she has no struggle with crochet, but rather it's to do with designers. Many are making up terms and names and then saying it is the original or the only way to work so-and-so stitch pattern or whatever. I hear that a lot too. And so we're going to talk about these guys. I want to take the tack that I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want to point out people. I don't want to say my way is the only way, because that's not true. However, there are some problems out there with patterns, and I'm going to try to address these as generically as possible, but hopefully help you find ways to deal with this. Now, one of the things I saw was that that some people said, I'm going to put this back up actually. Let's see here. Interpreting badly written patterns. and the vaguely written patterns, those are kind of the same thing. Um, there's a lot of designers out there who will make something really quick, like maybe a coffee cozy or a square for a blanket or something like that. And they don't, how do I put it? They don't have it tech edited. They don't have it charted. They just write it out the way they did it and put it out there. A lot of times it's on a blog. Sometimes it's a free download, things like that. And honestly, I will tell you, I will tell you that that is a problem right now, especially with all this influencer blogging type of thing, that there's a lot of people who just get started. And I understand that because when I first got started, I actually had a designer friend who read through my patterns, but it wasn't a full on tech edit. And I know a lot of us, when we're getting started, don't have the money to hire a tech editor. So that I understand completely. However, I don't believe anymore, after 23 years, almost 23 years in this industry, that you shouldn't tech edit even when you're starting. There are tech editors out there that will tech edit for a lot less than what my tech editors charge. There are tech editors who will read through it and get the pattern right and will do that. So if you are an aspiring designer watching this, I'm going to tell you right now, look for someone to tech edit your patterns. That is so important. The other thing I'm going to recommend is you learn like I did. This is how I learned to write a pattern. Remember, I did not learn in English. I learned in Italian. I couldn't read a pattern until I sat down with leaflets from Leisure Arts and saw the format of how a pattern was written, what was there, what the abbreviations are. Highly recommend that you go to the Craft Yarn Council and take their pattern writing class or their teaching crochet class. Download their abbreviations. I have some abbreviations on my website that you can use, but use the standard abbreviation. So that's part of the problem. Another problem that I see here from a lot of people is like what Linda's saying, that she downloaded patterns from a show and they didn't work out, and the demonstration had different stitch counts than the actual pattern. And if there was a stitch diagram, it helped, but if not, she gave up. What I can tell you is that a lot of people who do video work, and I know this from doing Craftsy classes, a lot of times what we are demonstrating on screen is just a portion of the pattern. Because if we were to, like, for example, if you have my class, Mix and Match Crochet Bag Techniques, the first thing I do in the show is that I show you in a swatch form how to do the stitches. So the swatch is only, 6-8 inches on screen, but I show you how to do the stitches on screen first. And then once I showed you those, then I showed you how to do it in a bigger format. And I talk about multiples and things like that. Now, I don't know which show you were talking about. I don't want to know which show you're talking about, but I do know that that is a traditional way that people do patterns on TV or video and things like that. In fact, when I start working on pieces of my patterns, I'm not going to do necessarily the complete pattern for you. I'm going to show you the bits and pieces that you get stuck on. I might get you started, but I won't do, like, I'm doing my videos for my Queen of Hearts. You'll see Monday, Tuesday, they've already dropped 2. And then Thursday, Friday, the other 2 are going to drop. There's only 4 videos. Each one of those videos is a part that people get stuck on. So that's why I'm not teaching the whole shawl. There's a couple reasons for that. One is I don't want necessarily people to make my pattern from video. I'd rather, part of what I do is I make, I'm a pattern designer. This is my bread and butter. So buy the pattern so that you can make the shawl. but don't, but I'm going to show you how to do certain things. And I'm hoping these videos will generate interest in my patterns. So that's just the way it is. I know there are people out there who do crochet the entire project online, and that's okay. If that's what they want to do, that's fine. I just don't have the time to crochet an entire project on video and produce it in time to do other things. So, or to produce it in time to release the pattern. If I tried to do the entire shawl of Queen of Hearts and do it all on video, it would probably take me 6 months to release that pattern, even though the pattern's already written and laid out and everything. But just to do the video for it would be a horrendous amount of time. So, so you're going to see some of those things from me, but it's going to be very similar. Now, the fact that you downloaded the pattern, it just didn't work out. The stitch counts didn't work out. They didn't have diagrams. That again is where some corners are being cut, or it wasn't tech edited properly, or the tech editor didn't understand how the pattern was supposed to be done. I don't know the details on that, but I can tell you those are the kinds of things you're going to see. And then finally, with Anna Louisa's, there are a lot of people who do this with the making up terms. They're trying to, there's a lot of people out there, especially on blogs and YouTube, that are creating, doing stitch patterns out of stitch dictionaries. Now, every stitch dictionary can create new names for different things. And there are some names that are copyrighted, like the camel crochet stitches. Those names are copyrighted. We are not allowed to use those. So the books that I have used the camel crochet stitches in, I had to rename them because I could not use their trademark. But the thing is you cannot trademark how to do the stitch. You can trademark the name, but you cannot trademark how to do the stitch. So that's why you're going to see some things that are different, like the camel crochet stitches. The thing I don't agree with is that this is the only way to do it. Like, for example, I'm trying to think of a good stitch. That people have renamed. Okay, so there's a stitch that everyone calls the thermal stitch now. When I learned how to do it back in the 80s, it was called the potholder stitch. So it's exactly the same stitch. And it was called the potholder stitch because you usually made potholders with it. You could make blankets with it. You could do things like that. Now they call it the thermal stitch because it's so thick and so comfy and warm. However, I truly believe that people need to say things like, I call this the thermal stitch, but it's also known as the potholder stitch. You should never rename something and claim it as your own or the only way to do this or anything like that, because there are, there's the 1,000 ways to skin a chicken, to pluck a chicken. So that is so important to know. So I hope those things are going to be helpful to you as far as those questions are concerned. Now, I'm just going to run through the chat here really quick and see what kind of questions I have. Make sure that if you have a question about the topic, to type a Q first, and then the question in the comments, and so I can queue them up. Oh, Carlene's here. Good morning, Carlene. I just love the message on your shirt. Thank you. I thought I liked this shirt. So, oh, there we go. I like this shirt, so I had to wear it today. I have a few crochet shirts that I'm going to try to start wearing on the show. So, let me see. Dawn is here. Good morning. Good morning, Dawn. I'm so glad you're here. And Kelly said me, so she must be one of those people that has trouble with vaguely written patterns and things like that. Let's see, what else do I have here? Okay, so Linda says, on one episode, a lady was demonstrating knitted lace. What she was saying was not what she was demonstrating. Oh, okay. Well, there's that too. There's a lot of times that people are not comfortable in front of the camera, and I can tell you it's really hard to speak to a camera. And even now, live, I trip over my words a lot of times, or I say the wrong word, and that can happen. And I don't know why on television that would have been a thing, but they should have been able to edit those, but I don't know. Ana Luisa's here from Mexico. Good morning. It's good to see you. And you love my patterns. At least if I have a question, you are as close as an email away. And that is what is so important to me, is that you can ask me questions. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. I see we've got some. Okay, I just want to go back to really fast. I'm going to, today, I'm going to take this off the screen. Oops, that's not what I want either. Hang on, there we go. Today I'm giving away a digital copy of Whimsy. So if you have not already entered to win, I'm just going to add this here really quick. Type in the chat #2colors. Now, if you are joining us right now, you have to do it exactly as you see it on the screen. And you have to be here to win at the end of the show. If you are watching after the fact, make sure you understand that once the show is over, I'm not doing the giveaway anymore. So if you're confused and try to type this in the comments later after the show is over, you won't be able to enter to win, because it'll have already been the person will have already been drawn, and we're working on getting the pattern to that person. So I just want to let you know that that is the what you want to put in there. And I'm going to take that off the screen here for a sec. Okay, so let's talk about what you can do when you have a pattern that is hard to deal with or hard to understand. There's 4 things or 3 things that I would really say are the steps you want to take. The first step is to contact the designer. Okay, so like me, like Linda just said, she knows that if she has a problem with my pattern, she can shoot me an email and I'll answer her. And I always let everybody know that give me at least 48 to 72 hours, business hours. I won't answer questions over the weekend unless for some reason it's something that I know that needs to get answered. But I don't even look at my business email. So, but contact the designer. And I would give every designer at least a week to get back to you, because you never know. I mean, everybody's life is different. So you want to make sure that you give them enough time to answer you back. So let's say you emailed them today. I would give them until next Wednesday. Now, if they don't contact you by next Wednesday, then I would say that chances are good, unless you got an autoresponder saying I'm on vacation or whatever, but chances are good that you probably won't get an answer. And I do know that there are some designers out there who get so much email that they don't always either answer the questions or it gets lost in the shuffle. So it's at that point, what I would say is you could try it again and give them another week, or move on to what my next thought is going to be. Not every designer is going to be as responsive. That's the word I wanted. As responsive as I am. That is one of the main values of my business, is that I'm here to support you and I want you to be successful with my patterns. So that is why I always answer the questions within 48 to 72 business hours, if I possibly can. And a lot of times, if you don't give me enough information, I will ask you some questions or ask you to send me some pictures or something like that so that I can help you. But it's really important that to me that if you need help, that you contact me. So I know I am few and far between out there. So, but I know there are other designers who do respond pretty quickly too. So that would be my first step. My second step would be is if you can't get the designer to contact you. Oh, and I should go back to contact the designer first really quick. If it's in a magazine or a TV show, contact the show or the magazine, because I get a lot of questions from like Leisure Arts will send me, say, hey, someone bought your book and they're having a question on this pattern, and they'll forward me the question, and then I communicate with the customer. Annie's has done that in the past, also with my books. Interweave has done that with me. Craftsy's even done that with me before all the changes happened with Craftsy. But um, if it's in a magazine or a book, I would contact the publisher first. And then, well, you can try the designer if you know how to get a hold of the designer. But if you don't, contact the publisher first and then go from there. Okay, so number 2 is visit a local yarn shop for help. Now, I know that a lot of people don't have a local yarn shop. I have one that's just like 15 minutes away. When I lived on the west side of the state, I had like 10 within an hour of me. I know not everybody is that lucky. So if you don't have a local yarn shop, then you can skip this step. But if you have one, usually there is someone in the shop that can help you. I know for knitting, this is true all the time. For crochet, there's not always necessarily somebody in the shop. I know most shops these days, though, do have a crocheter in there. So you could visit them, or you could call and find out when the person who knows crochet that can answer questions for you is going to be in, and then go in on that day when that person is there. That would be my next step, because yarn shops that's one of the services most yarn shops do, is help with understanding patterns. Okay. If you can't do that, or you've tried that and they couldn't help you, the next step would be to check in with your local guild, a Facebook group, or other such group that you might belong to. So if you're on Facebook, I know there's a ton of crochet groups out there. You just make sure you check the rules because I know when you're online, a lot of groups will say, we don't do pattern help, or we don't post a portion of a pattern or something like that, because there are copyright issues involved with that. But you could check in with somebody to see if anybody has done this pattern successfully and can answer a few questions, and then take it out of the group and ask the questions. If you have a local guild, even if you're not a member of the guild, you can go online and type in crochet guilds near me in Google or whatever search engine you use, and they should pop up if they have a website, and you can contact them and see if there's anybody there that can help you. And you can also ask if any of their members have done this pattern successfully, and if they'd be willing to help you out. So that's number 4. Now, number 3. Now, number 4, I didn't write a little thing but I'm going to say buyer beware. Buyer beware. If it's a free pattern, remember, sometimes you do get what you pay for when it comes to our patterns. That's why you rarely see me do a free pattern, because there's so much cost involved. And I have done in the past, a blog post, and you can search for it on my blog, about the cost of producing a pattern, because I do have it professionally tech edited. I do have it professionally laid out. I do have it professionally photographed. So those things all are costs to me, and that's why my patterns are priced the way they are, because I have to recoup some of that cost. Some patterns I sell so many of that they cover the cost of other patterns that may not sell as well. So there's a balance there, because sometimes I think this is a great pattern, but nobody likes it. And then other times I will tell you, Modern Metro has paid for so many of my patterns already that, and it's not my favorite pattern. So, but that's why I price things the way they are, is so that I can recoup some of my costs. So, okay, so let's go over to these comments. And I noticed that there's a couple people here let's start with the questions that people have left. So Kelly says, how to deal with whether the turning chain is counted as a stitch or not. Is there a way to discern this when that info is not provided? Good question. If they have a chart, I would say use the chart. If they don't have a chart, I would do it the way you think it needs to be done. I mean, the way you've learned. So, like with a double crochet, if it says um, chain 3, turn, double crochet in next stitch and each stitch to the end. And then it says, 10 chains or 10 double crochets, whatever. Um, when they use the word next, if they're writing the pattern correctly, it means skip the first, go to the next stitch because the chain automatically counts as the turning chain automatically counts as the first stitch, and you should have 9 more double crochets. However, if they don't use the word next, reasonably you should be working in that first stitch and the turning chain does not count. That's a question you need to ask the designer if it's not already stated. If you can't get an answer from the designer on that, I would work a few rows and see how the stitches turn out compared to what the pattern looks like, the photograph, the beauty shot of the pattern, and based on if they give you stitch counts. Now, a lot of designers don't give you stitch counts, and I'm trying to make sure that I do that at least in the strategic places where stitch counts change. So, but I know not everybody does that. So that's a hard one because that's where you need to talk to a designer. Does that help, Kelly? I'm going to go back to the regular comments here really quick because I saw there's a lot of questions here. I've had people on Ravelry contact me with questions when I have finished a project, especially when the designer and the yarn company did not respond to her. Yes, you're going to find that too. Then that's I don't usually mention Ravelry because I don't use Ravelry, but if you're in a part of a group or you're on Ravelry and you use, and you post your projects there, you be prepared to have people ask you questions about that pattern if it's a really poorly written pattern. Okay, so Kelly, let me know if that works. Stitch count normally helps if they provide it. Yes. If they don't provide it, that's when it gets iffy. I know. So okay, so that should help then. Now Renee says, what exactly is involved in tech editing? What does a tech editor do? That is beyond the scope of this chat or this live stream, but just in a nutshell, literally a tech editor checks the numbers, checks that, because every designer who uses a tech editor should have a couple things. They should have all the abbreviations they use. So they have a chart that the tech editor knows that because some people call triple treble and other people call a triple triple and other people call it a triple a treble. So the tech editor needs to know that terminology. They also need to know what the abbreviations are that we use. Now, we're trying to get things standard. I use mostly what Craft Yarn Council uses and what I see all of the books publishers, the main, Annie's, Leisure Arts, and Interweave, all those that the terminology they use, because most of them are using the same terminology as far as abbreviations are and things like that. But the tech editor goes through, makes sure the pattern reads properly, checks all the numbers for sizing. So like if I am doing a sweater that's graded to 12 sizes, they check every single number, every single chain, starting chain, everything like that. They also, if something doesn't read right, they reword it. They reword it. We use, like my tech editors, we use Microsoft Word so I can see what they're changing from my original, and I can say, yes, I like that better, or no, I don't want it that way. We need to think about it a little bit more. And we talk back and forth. My tech editors also draw my charts. There's a lot of tech editors out there that do not know how to draw charts. And I think those tech editors who do not understand, do not draw charts, are the kind of people who are going to lose out on a lot of business. So you need to know how to do that. But the other thing that tech editor needs from the designer is what we call a guide, basically. I can't think of the word right now. It just popped out of my head. But it's a guide that shows them how I format my patterns, what for special stitches, how I write my special stitches. They have a copy of that, so that if I use something like a crochet 2 together and I forget to put it in the special stitches, they can just copy and paste it into the pattern because I forgot it. And so that's basically what a tech editor does. Tech editor is my eyes to make sure everything reads and writes and is numbered properly. So I hope that helps, Renee. If you're interested in being, it's not really a template. It's not a template, Renee. It's something else. It's another word. It's not a template. But if you're interested in becoming a tech editor, there are groups out there that teach you how to be a tech editor. There's several people who actually run classes for tech editors to learn how to be a tech editor. You can check with Crochet Guild of America, because I know they are one of them that have groups on and can compare you up with someone who is a tech editor to teach you how to be a tech editor. So those are just a couple things that are out there. Anybody else have questions for me on this topic? Just while I'm waiting for questions to come in, just a reminder, I'm giving away in a few minutes a copy of Whimsy. If you want to win in chat, make sure you put in hashtag 2colors spelled exactly the way you see it here. I see there's only 4 entries, so there's got to be more people out there that might want this, but you've got a good chance to win. So if you want to do that, I'm gonna draw in just a minute. Anybody else have a I'm trying to remember what the name is. It's not a template. Everybody else have a question? Good morning, Pat. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. So anyway, guys, while I'm waiting for questions, I don't really have any projects to show you. I'm slowly getting better. I'm hoping this weekend to start on a couple things that I want to do. Make sure, Anna Louisa, I just saw you did not spell it correctly. So make sure you spell it exactly the way you see it on the screen, because if you don't spell it the way it is on the screen, it will not register you. So make sure you spell it the way I spelled it. It's not a blueprint either, Stephanie. You know what? I might just go into my files and I'll tell you exactly what it is. Style guide. That's what it is. It's called a style guide. It just hit me. It's called the style guide, and it's literally how I write my patterns, how the layout I write my patterns, how I define things, how I do things. That's what it's called, is a style guide. There you go. You had PT this morning. I hope you're feeling better. I know that you must be moving better than you were earlier or last year, but how are you feeling these days, Pat? I hope everything's going okay. Okay, so I don't have any new projects to show you. I'm hoping to start something in the next day or so. This last weekend we spent up in Spokane with my daughter, so I didn't do anything over the weekend. And the last couple of days I've been like playing catch up with email and stuff like that. So there's that. And I'm also taking another class. In fact, I probably sign off a few minutes early today because of that. But I wanted to show you a couple things that came in. First of all, if you get my newsletter, I alluded to this in the newsletter. I sent the link, but this is the pin. It's a little crochet pin that's looks like the start of a granny square or the start of a hat or something that I got. It's an enamel pin. It's really cute. I really like it. It's going to go on my apron when I teach and do things like that. Oh, Pat, you had surgery. I hope you're feeling better. I'm hoping that everything's healed nicely. So physical therapies just try to get you back on track, I guess. Hope everything's okay. Oh, and that reminds me, for those of you who have asked about Marianne, if you don't know, Marianne used to be here all the time. And in December, she had surgery. She's a breast cancer survivor. And I did email her a couple weeks ago. I finally got an email back from her on Monday, this past Monday. She wanted to say thank you to everybody who's praying for her. She is getting physical therapy and occupational therapy right now at home. She's really tired. She hasn't been crocheting, but she's been watching and thinking, you know, and reading my newsletters and things like that. So I told her we're still praying for her. And she said to say thank you to everybody who is praying for her. So, but she's doing okay. She says she gets better every single day. So there you go. Yeah, the pin is really, really cute. I really like it, Linda. It really turned out cute. Okay, and then another thing is I don't know. Those of you who have bought physical products from me have always gotten a little goodie bag inside, and I just ran out of all of my goodies that I usually give out. And so one of the companies that I get my stickers from was doing a special little promotion about a new tool they have to create stickers. And so this is an old sticker that I used to have in Cafe Press years ago. I mean, when I first started designing, and I revamped it, and I had them send me 10 stickers just to see how it turned out. And this turned out really cute. It says, I crocheted before crochet was cool. So it's a 5-inch sticker. It has my logo here at the bottom. So this, I only have 10 of these. So when people order physical products from me, like a physical pattern or something like that, for the first 10, we'll probably get one of these. So I just thought I'd show you that. If you guys like stuff like this, I can put them in my shop, but just let me know if you like that kind of stuff. Okay, so Stephanie says, the North Texas Yarn Crawl starts in 16 days. 15 yarn shops participating. Any hints on what's to get for upcoming shawl patterns? Fingering weight yarn. All of my patterns coming up for the Pattern Club are all fingering weight yarns. Some of them have 2 colors. Some of them, let's see. Next month's one color, or the one that's releasing next week is 1 color. The following month, May, is 1 color. June is 1 color. July is 1 color. August is 1 color. September is when we start doing 2 colors. So September's 2 colors. October's 1 color. November's 2 colors. And December is actually 3 colors. But they're all fingering weight yarn. They're all work side to side. You guys know that. They're all side to side. They're just different techniques. You can do this month's in a variegated, you can do it in a long striping, you can do it in a speckle, you can do it in a tonal, up to you. The only ones that I'm going to tell you that may not work out in a speckle or a tonal or a gradient or variegated would be actually none of them. Actually, I think we're good on all of them. So it's up to you what you want. Every one of these projects needs at least 2 hanks. The December one is 3, but the 3rd color is just a small amount, maybe 50 yards, if that. I think it's more like 25 yards. So if you're going to be looking for yarns, those are the things you want to think about. And you like the sticker. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And Carlene, I don't know if you're still here, but if you are still here, I did get the shirt off of Etsy. I can't remember who the person was right off the top of my head. When I first got the shirt, I wore it and I posted it, and I can't remember how long ago that's been because it's been cold. So do I have any sock patterns coming up? Not right now, but there is a possibility later on this year. They won't be if I do socks this year, because I've got a schedule for 2023 going, and socks are on there. So it won't be released until 2023. But if there is one to recommend, it's my cuff mix and match cuff down or my mix and match toe up socks are the ones that I recommend for beginners, because they teach how to do the socks and how to you can swap out what kind of heel is being used and what kind of cuff is being used for those. You're thinking about doing a sock class. If you're going to do a sock class, what I'm going to recommend is have the shop buy my book, I Can't Believe I'm Crocheting Socks. If you're going to do a shop class, because that book actually breaks down all the parts of the socks so people can visually see them and you can teach about them right from the book. So, and Leisure Arts does sell them wholesale. So check that out. And if you want to just give them a digital link to Leisure Arts to purchase it on their own, they can do that too. So that book is still in print. It is my best-selling book from Leisure Arts. I don't think I'll ever stop getting royalties on that book because it is just it sells every quarter. I get royalties on it. So, and that book came out in what, 2010, 2011, somewhere around there. So, yeah. Linda said, I'm enjoying your Queen of Hearts video. Such a beautiful shawl. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm hoping it'll generate some more interest in that. I've been selling quite a few of them because of Schmutzerella, whose yarn I used in that original shawl, not the ones in the videos. The videos are me using Madeline Tosh. But in the original pattern, Schmutzerella has been promoting that pattern with her yarns. So I've been selling quite a few of those as well. Okay, guys. I think I'm done. I'm going to go ahead and do the drawing here. I'm going to get to my page here. So I'm going to hit draw here in just a sec. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm drawing. Dawn! Yay! I'm so excited, Dawn. So, Dawn, you will get an email from me. I'm going to put it in your shopping cart on my website, or put it in your account on my website so that you can download it anytime you want. But I'm so excited. Thanks for entering to win. And I will get that to you probably this afternoon, because I do have to get onto a class here in just a minute. But I'm so glad you were here and you were able to pop in and get today's pattern. Okay, guys. Well, since we're done with the drawing, I'm going to take that off, put myself back up here. I just want to remind you guys before we go to make sure you hit the subscribe button if you've never subscribed to my channel, and hit the bell so that you know when I go live. And also the most important thing you can do is, if you like this video, please click the thumbs up. The one that the one algorithm that's the most important is the thumbs up on the video. So if you like these videos, make sure you always hit that like button. And if you're watching after the fact and you have any questions for me about dealing with patterns, poorly written patterns, leave a comment question, and I will answer it as soon as I see it. So I hope you guys have a great week, and I will talk to you next week. Have a blessed day. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next time. Bye, y'all.